All right, we are live yet again. Today is April 7th, 2015, and I'm actually back from California, so I'm enjoying this wonderful weather with everybody else. And it looks gray and cold to me, but it sounds like Tom may be saying it may get white. Is that right, Tom?
Well, hey, let's not go too far, Bill.
Okay.
By the way, I absolutely love this time of the year when it comes to weather. Okay, and now I'm not saying that I just in general love April and late March in Minnesota because of course you can get some really horrible, cold, clammy, cloudy days, right? But when it comes to a weather standpoint, you never know what to expect, and we always, Bill, we always get surprises as we head through the springtime of the year here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I get a funny feeling, Bill, that that's going to happen. And you're kind of giving us a little bit of foreshadowing here, Bill. Talk about what you got there.
Yeah, this is Tom. This is a picture that I saw on Twitter, taken from the San Francisco airport, probably looking east, and so it shows some pretty vigorous storm activity there, and I guess that's part of the storm that's coming this way, right?
Right. Yeah. So those are mammatus clouds that you see, Bill. Those puffy, billowy clouds. My mom always used to call them boob clouds. I kind of always got a kick out of that. But
Tom, we don't want to get this X-ray.
I know. That's just something that I remember when I was really young. But they are called mammatus clouds, actually, and I had to correct my mom on that. But that's the sign of vigorous lift, Bill, which means a lot of energy out on the West Coast. And that's why you see those clouds there off the Bay Area there in San Francisco. But that's the energy, Bill, that's moving in our direction and is going to be here later this week. And one thing I wanted to show you, Bill, you should see now, is a satellite loop. This is the infrared satellite loop over the upper Midwest. The reason why I'm showing you this, Bill, is because look at what's happening over southern Minnesota today. You see those yellows, bright yellows and oranges? Those are high cloud tops, or I should say cold cloud tops, that have exploded over southern Minnesota today. The Rochester area, Bill, get this, temperatures were in the upper 30s in Rochester this afternoon, yet they had severe thunderstorms with hail and lightning and big booming thunder claps, all that good stuff down in the Rochester area and along the I-90 corridor. And again, with the temperature in Rochester was 38 degrees when this was happening. That just tells you how weird and how things can be surprising here in southern Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I get a funny feeling that this type of scenario is going to repeat itself, maybe not as much tomorrow, but certainly as we head into Thursday and maybe even into Friday morning. Why is it? Well,
in the Twin Cities, it's really hardly rained yet this week, so sounds like this one's going to really happen, though, right?
Well, I mean, I think everybody in southern Minnesota and Wisconsin is going to get rain at least by Thursday. So, and keep in mind, we're getting into the time of the year, Bill, where we're getting into showers and thunderstorms. These can be spotty. So, even though we're expecting significant rains over southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, there are going to be some haves and there are going to be some have-nots. In general, we're getting into a stormy weather pattern. What I'm showing you now, Bill, is the NAM computer model, and this is the jet stream at 250 millibars. This is at about 25 to 30,000 feet above in our atmosphere, above the surface of the Earth. And look at what's happening, Bill. Remember, we always are looking for these dips in the jet stream, these troughs, okay? And we've got one. This is for tomorrow evening. This is a trough now that's developing over the Intermountain West over Colorado and the Rocky Mountains. And watch what happens to this trough as we get into Thursday. And this is very important what's happening, Bill. Look at how the jet stream increases in intensity over northern Minnesota and the northern Great Lakes. That is an area of intense lift. When you get to the base of that intensifying jet stream, or jet streak, what we call it, Bill, right here in southern Minnesota is going to be an area of an intense lift by Thursday afternoon. This is at about noon on Thursday afternoon. And watch what happens to that jet streak. It just continues to increase in intensity, and actually a very impressive storm system develops in the upper levels of our atmosphere right over southern Minnesota. And that's important because it's going to spread rain, thunderstorms, and yes, maybe even some snow, Bill, into portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And this is very important, Bill. Look at the temperature. This is 850 millibars. Again, this is off the NAM computer model. And here it is for Thursday afternoon. And look at the temperature contrasts in the lower levels of our atmosphere from southern Illinois, where it's going to be warm. Temperatures probably in the 80s in southern Illinois. And then look at this cold air wrapping into the system over southern Minnesota, and that would include the Twin Cities. Remember this light blue line, Bill, that's the 32 degree Fahrenheit, 0 degree Celsius line, usually kind of the rain-snow demarcation line in the lower levels of our atmosphere. And it looks like rain may even change to some snow by late Thursday afternoon, close to, if not in the Twin Cities. Again, this is Thursday afternoon. Look, the atmosphere may be cold enough to support at least some heavy wet snow over southern Minnesota and Wisconsin.
It almost looks like there's colder temperatures like in northern Iowa than parts of Minnesota.
Well, there are, and that's why people, not only in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Bill, but even northern Iowa, people in the upper Midwest need to pay attention to this, because there are going to be some surprises, the way it appears, as we head into Thursday afternoon and evening, especially if we get vigorous lift in the atmosphere, Bill, that would create thunderstorm activity, because when you get thunderstorm activity in cold temperatures like this in the lower levels of our atmosphere, you can get what's called dynamic cooling, Bill, which can actually cool our atmosphere even more than what we are expecting. Now, here's the 700 millibar graph map from the NAM computer model for Thursday afternoon. The reason why I'm showing you this is because look at the yellows and the reds. This is vigorous lift in the atmosphere over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin on Thursday afternoon at about 3 or 4 p.m. If this holds true, Bill, and the temperatures at 850 millibars are near or below freezing, we could get thunder snow in southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And again, I can't stress how important this is. Not everybody's going to get snow. This is likely going to be a very thin, narrow band of heavy snow that develops, and where it's going to develop is kind of anybody's guess right now, but the NAM computer model believes, at least right now, that that deformation axis, or the spin in our atmosphere that would support snow, is going to develop right over the Twin Cities and portions of southern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, basically on a line from about, maybe near Mankato up to the Twin Cities, then northeast to near Hayward, Wisconsin. That right now is what I feel would be the access for or at least potential for at least a few inches of snow, if not more, in a very thin, narrow band across southern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. By the way, this is the radar, future radar from the NAM computer model, showing you that what we call a deformation axis forming over southern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, basically between the hours of about 1 p.m. Thursday and midnight Thursday.
Wow.
Crazy. I know. We were 84 degrees, Bill. 84 degrees in Minneapolis last Wednesday. And to think that we can go from 84 degrees to at least the potential for snow again in just a week's time is crazy. But that's
actually slow. Usually around here it changes in 2 days. That's taken a whole week to change.
Right, taking a whole week. Now, let's also keep in mind, Bill, this isn't all bad, because we need the moisture here in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and it looks like we're going to get significant moisture, whether it be rain or snow. We're going to at least get some here in southern Minnesota. And Bill, I know you've been waiting for this. Okay.
I was going to say, no, Tom, another reason it's not bad is because, as you know, I'm visiting here, debating about whether to come back to Minnesota or stay in a warmer place. So this is a reminder of what can happen in April.
Right. It gets your blood boiling again, doesn't it, Bill? Because you don't get this kind of stuff out on the coasts, or at least the West Coast. You're coming into some more exciting weather, and I know that gets your juices flowing. So hopefully we can get something for you to talk about here over the next week and keep you here in Minnesota. Now, Bill, you've been waiting for this, and I know you're always on the edge of your seat for this map, and here it is, the travel impact graphic, Bill. Now, again, I don't want everybody to panic yet, and this travel impact shows you that at least people in the Twin Cities shouldn't panic yet, because I'm just telling everybody to pay attention, at least in the Twin Cities, and wait for later updates on whether we expect this rain to turn to snow. But if you're in northern Wisconsin, Hayward, just north of Eau Claire, maybe even Eau Claire, and then of course heading into the snow belts of Wisconsin, like Ashland, and then the UP of Michigan, I think they're going to get 6, 8, maybe even more inches of wet snow in those areas. So, and it wouldn't surprise me if that finger of heavy snow extends back to near or in the Twin Cities as we head into Thursday afternoon and especially Thursday evening. It would be quick hitting. It probably wouldn't last for more than a few hours. But if you're getting thunder with some of this wet snow, that snow can pile up very quickly in just a few hours of time. But of course, as we head into April, as quick as the snow falls, that's how quick it's going to melt. So it may not even accumulate much on the blacktops, may only accumulate on the grassy surfaces, and then it'll probably melt within a day or two.
So Tom, this time tomorrow, you'd have a better idea, but I know you still couldn't nail it down exactly, but you'd have a little bit more confidence tomorrow this time?
I'll have a lot more confidence this time tomorrow, and I usually like to come out with accumulations, or at least graphics that depict potential accumulations, about 24 hours or so before a storm is set to strike. So if it does snow in the Twin Cities metro or any parts of southern Minnesota, I would expect it to occur somewhere between 3 p.m. on Thursday and about 9 p.m. Thursday, somewhere in there. So that means by about 3 p.m. or so tomorrow, I should be coming out with some sort of a snow graphic on how much to expect. Again, probably a 30 to 60 mile wide band of snow. That's real narrow, and it's going to be. Some people are going to get surprised. Some aren't. Some people will call this a bust. Some won't. And of course, Bill, we've been talking about sharp gradients. It seems like all year. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4 to 6 inch snow gradient over about a 20 to 30 mile wide area as we head into Thursday afternoon and evening, and that could end up right over the Twin Cities metro again.
Wow. Well, if conditions warrant, maybe we can do an update tomorrow night.
Would love to do it, Bill. Sounds
All
great.
Right. Take it easy.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.